This is Renata. This is a video for the Life Manifestation School community. So today I'm going to do kind of a concepts talk because it's important. It's an important concept that ties into everything about manifesting and orgone generators and how the orgone generators work. So the concept we're going to talk about is structural links. And so basically a structural link is something that represents something else or something that connects something to something else. So there are physical structural links and there are mental structural links. So in the basics of the way that orgone generators work and the way that the orgone energy is transferred, this is a structural link. This is a transfer couple. This is a power booster actually. This piece is connected to this piece. So, and physically they're connected. Like if you have two pieces that go together, you can't, if you get them mixed up, it won't work because there is a crystal that's split in half that makes the connection between the two. So this is connected to this. This is a structural link. When you have this connected with your machine, orgone energy is transferred to here. Okay, with the chi cards, this is a chi card. With a chi card, there's an image identical to this that's in front of a machine. And then you have the image that's sent to you. You print it out and you carry it. It transfers orgone energy from a physical machine to the printed out image. Structural links, also, if you stop and you think about a person and you pull the person up in your mind's eye, you're creating a link to that person. And so that is a structural link. That's a mental link, but you are actually linking to the person. So from a young age, from, I don't know, like my dad started working with orgone energy in the 70s. He invented the orgone generator in 91, but he was, working with the orgone accumulators and testing things out and working on things from an early age. I was born into orgone because I was born in 79. So, so yeah, I was born into the whole thing. But what I remember specifically as a teenager having conversations with my dad about being careful about how you think about other people. And so I always work at maintaining a neutral thinking about people. I mean, sometimes I'll intentionally send positive energy to people, and that's the thing. But I don't even do that a lot. Whenever I do, I'm very intentional about it because I feel like too much of like just thinking about a person and sending energy can be annoying. And so that is a thing. So basically that's the concept of what a structural link is. People ask what a structural link is, and it's an important thing to kind of get a handle on, because whenever you're manifesting and you're visualizing what you'd like to have happen, you're creating a link to that. That's a structural link. But if you're doing, say distance Reiki on a person, and you're focusing on the person and you're sending energy to the person, you're creating a structural link to the person, and then you're sending the energy through the link. And so that's, you're structurally linking mentally to the person. And if you have an image of the person, the image is a structural link to the person. And that's why there's a lot of, there are cultures where they don't want their photograph taken. And it's very specific because, that's not just a photograph. It's a link to the person. So, yeah, so this is a very basic idea of all of it. So I've always tried to cultivate something that's like closer to balance. You don't have to try to think positive all the time. That's like I was saying, like overly positive thoughts towards a person can feel intrusive if they're directed at someone that hasn't asked for them. Like if you're just sitting around and you're obsessing on a person, it's gonna feel like you're constantly knocking at their head. It's kind of the way that it is. I've had it happen to me before, and it's like I would feel an energy on the side of my face, and it was like this constant fill of energy out the side of my face. It's very strange, and so that's why I'm careful about it myself. So it started like pretty early for me. Like I had conversations. I mean, I was meditating and visualizing, and I remember being about 10 or 11. My dad got me a book on meditation, and it was a visualization book called My Magic Garden, and I read it on tape. I recorded myself on tape so that I could use the visualization of the Magic Garden. And the Magic Garden concept was basically that you were in a place that was like, you know, you would visualize your own garden, forest. You know, it was a pretty typical visualization, and I used it. It was like a week. It was like over a week. There's like a meditation every day for a week, and I used it all the time when I was, you know, probably 12, 11 or 12, and then my stepdad was into meditation, and he did following the breath, and he taught me the following the breath. And I was a teenager. I was probably 13 or 14 whenever I started working with that. So I do meditation on a regular basis. I do visualization on, you know, a pretty regular basis. So in the visualization, if you're visualizing yourself in a peaceful state within your magic garden and feeling safe, you're transmuting. I mean, that's basically sending that, you know, we work with these trend energy cards. So it would be like sending trend energy cards to yourself, basically, whenever you do any version of a visualization, and you've got yourself in the image, and you're sending across feelings of peace. That's structurally linked. So if you look up my dad's course, the Magic of the Future course, it's magiccourse.com. So the very first lesson, he brings up structural links, and he talks about it. And he, you know, sometimes they'll call it a psychic link, but he calls it a structural link for the purpose of, you know, he's putting scientific terms into magic. And so, yeah, I just thought I would just talk about that a little bit, because we're all connected, and if we're all connected, then you have to be careful about the way that you think about things and you think about people. And I've always been careful about the way that I think about things. So if you think about it, if you think about a person randomly and then they call you, that's because you've pulled up a structural link and you connected to them, and then they have the idea to call. So it's interesting to me. It's interesting. It was interesting growing up in it. It was interesting, like, learning from an early age. I learned about lucid dreaming when I was a kid. My stepmom taught me that lucid dreaming was a good way to work through my fears, and so I would, you know, work at the techniques, which there are techniques now where you can just wear headphones and it'll send a beep occasionally so that it can wake you up in your dreams, and you can realize you're dreaming, and then you can work through a lot of things within a dream once you realize you're dreaming. So yeah, so that's the topic today. It's not going to be very long because that's pretty much that's what a structural link is. And so whenever, you know, whenever you see structural links and you're like, I don't even know what that is, it's just something that represents something else. And so, or in this case, they're physically connected. These are structurally linked together. They're physically connected. The chi card is connected by an identical image with the machine. That's a structural link. Trend energy cards are not structural links. They're like trend energy, so they get sent through the structural link. That's why they're set kind of, you know, you kind of put them on top, and then you would put a picture of a person, and then that would be the link to the person, and then this would be the trend energy that you're sending. And the chi card, which is also a structural link, is the energy source. So for a basic operation, it's like you need a target, which is the person you're working with or what you're working on, a trend, which is what you want to have happen, and an energy source. So in this case, you know, you would have a physical, like a person, Or you can carry this, and then yourself, you would be the one that you're working on if you carried your chi card and a Trin Energy card together. So that's my concept talk for today. Thank you.